cocked 45, and there's a wild bunch of desperados down there. I'm gonna take them out. Yes, sirree, with my 1911 from Cimarron. Kind of a wild bunch pistol. Also are conducive to as a like I said, project. You know, there's so many different things people like to do with them, add sights and trigger jobs and just different beaver tails. I mean, they're, gosh, what are they? They're kind of like an AR in a lot of ways, Lego, but it's not always just a matter of unscrewing and, you know, and putting something else on there with a screwdriver, you know, or a punch. Sometimes it does take some real gunsmithing. So, but anyway, this is the Cimarron. It's a Cimarron 1911. I have a hard time figuring out what they actually call it. It's referred to as kind of their wild bunch offering, because, you know, Cimarron is famous for bringing in all these Wild West revolvers, right, and lever guns and everything, and others, you know, from Italy, and having them made to their specs based on what we want, and they do a good job of that. They have some of the best firearms, you know, Old West reproductions made in Italy. Well, because of that, I guess, you know, the Wild Bunch, when I say Wild Bunch, it's kind of alluding to the movie The Wild Bunch in a way. I think that's where that class of competition came from in SAS, you know, Single Action Shooting Society, you know, cowboy action shooting. They have a subclass called the Wild Bunch. And these are the guns you use, you know, 1911s, okay? Plain Jane, pretty much, 1911s. I think that's been going on for maybe 20 years or more now as a part of SAS, because they wanted to do it, have a class, and again, based on that movie, because that movie takes place in, I don't know what the setting is. Do y'all know for the movie The Wild Bunch? I think it's like 1920 or something, 25, I don't know. But they're carrying 1911s, they're carrying lever guns, they're carrying pump shotguns, you know, different things. And so it's a mix, kind of the Old West, the new Old West. And a lot of people who love to shoot those matches, those cowboy action matches, I guess enough of them thought it'd be fun to actually use a 1911, because a lot of those people, including me, we came to it from like IPSC, you know, USPSA. And so, but this is a little different from what you see in IDPA generally and the USPSA, you know, competition, because it's a plain Jane, kind of the military version of a 1911. And let's shoot again. How's that? See, there's nothing fancy about it. You don't have any fancy beaver tails, anything like that. It's just more or less the GI version, and but it works. It really does. What have we not shot? Oh, I don't know. Lots of things. Yeah. Woo! Put on a show just or two later. I was going to get a mag pouch and I didn't do it. So this is it's a plain Jane gun, and it's not very expensive either. This would have been another one we could have done with one of our comparisons of, you know, less expensive guns with more expensive firearms. That series is kind of what we did with the 1911 video. This one is made in the Philippines, I guess Rock Island. It's an Arms Corps Filipino gun made in the Philippines, okay? And I don't know a lot of the specifics about that other than that's where it was made, and that's why it's like $450, $500. Okay, if you see a $450 or $500 1911, it probably was not made, I guess I can say that, right, in the United States. I don't know if anybody's making one here in that price range. It definitely was probably not, probably, that's Hickok 45 talk. It was probably not made by Wilson Combat, okay, or Ed Brown, or Les Bear, or any of the others, Nighthawk, if it's a $450 1911. But it works generally, okay? Now what I've got out here is to show you a little of the difference. I'll shoot it some more. Before I do that, I want to thank Silencer Central, because they're providing this suppressor to put on this 1911. That's the thing I was going to tell you, I forgot. In the cowboy action shooting, you have to shoot with a suppressor on your firearm. Did y'all believe that? No, you didn't believe that. That was a joke. But no, we appreciate silencercentral.com. Check them out. They'll take care of all your paperwork, and they'll help you select a suppressor that fits your needs. And when all the paperwork clears, they will get it right to your front door. So we appreciate their help. Great outfit. No suppressor. You can't even have a 3-dot sight in this class of competition. The spirit of it is to go back into time, the early 1900s, and compete with just a plain Jane 1911. Okay, all these you see in gun shops now, so many of them, and that people compete with. That's more of a modern thing. Okay, you know, up until there were people who did some things, you know, modifications, or in I guess the fairly early days, but I don't know when most of that started, probably in the 60s or 70s on a smaller scale, with sights and maybe trigger jobs, and then the beaver tail replacements and improvements. Probably some of y'all know better than I do. It was going on when I got into competition in the late 80s, and I don't know how long, yeah, for at least 10 years, I think. So anyway, but this, you go back into the 20s, the teens, the 30s, you know, this, if you had a 1911, it looked like one of these, okay? Military version or commercial version, it was the same, essentially, okay? So let me shoot one more mag before I explain a little bit more about this, because I know you're dying to hear it, and I just want to shoot. When I get a 1911 out, I want to fire that thing. I really do. And I get the urge to smoke some pot, too. Don't tell anybody. He thought he was going to get away. I let the bowling pin get away, but I'm not going to let the pot get away unsmoked. All right, let's try that old target there. We should be able to see the hole since it's a big old 45. Yeah, big old 45. It'll even knock a bowling pin off. They stand. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? It smells good, too. And I've been shooting this a couple of different times before the video, you know, with ammo, you know, kind of short these days and everything. I'm not going to do a 1,000-round test or anything. That would be brilliant these days. But I've not had any trouble with it yet. If we have a malfunction today, then guess what? We have a malfunction today. You know, it's just whatever happens, happens. But it's pretty cool. This one, basically, maybe I shouldn't go into crazy detail on it. I probably almost could. I'm almost smart enough to. But what I have here is the Cimarron version. And what this is an A1 Remington Rand from World War II. It's an A1. And then this one is it's a 1911, okay? Before any of the A1 modifications. Let me put it down here. Right, and I'll let you see that you have the same frame with this. So the Cimarron version does have a 1911 frame. See that, how it's got the sharp edges? Whereas on the A1 up here, you've got a contour. It's beveled. See where you reach into the trigger guard, you got a little bit of contour there where somebody took a Dremel tool, it looks like, and said, I need to carve that out just a little bit so my finger fits around there a little bit easier. And if you notice the difference, and you can tell if you've handled these, like this one, smoother. When you pick up one of these, it's not a problem, but you can feel the edge a little bit. It's a little bit more like you're picking up not a 2x4, it's not that bad, but you just got a little bit of an edge. Not a big deal either way. If you have short fingers, it's probably a bigger deal. So it actually helps you get to the trigger a little bit, I guess. So that was one of the big changes they made on the frame and the beaver tail. So it does have that's the 1911 frame. When I say 1911, as I'm comparing here, I do mean 1911 up to what, 1924, I think, is when the A1 came out, and with the changes. So we tend to call all these 1911s because they are. But the A1 had some modifications. So you got the same frame as the 1911. They got the frame right, yeah. But it's basically a 1911 frame and flat backstrap, mainspring housing, with almost the rest of the parts are A1. Okay, that's just kind of what it is. So you've got you know, with the hammer, you got kind of an A1 hammer, sights, a little bit better sights. You know, the A1 sights. And you know, the trigger is an A1 trigger, more or less. It's a short trigger, you know, whereas the actual 1911, as you see up there, has a longer trigger. Okay, and Also, the ejection port is lowered like it is on the A1. And so, both of these have kind of the lowered ejection, not dramatically. The original 1911, you see, it doesn't have that low cut as much. So, there's things like that we can point out. The roll marks are pretty authentic on the Cimarron. They look pretty much like a 1911. They're pretty neat. You got the Cimarron on there and that thing, but it's pretty nice. It's a nice replica of an early 1911. They weren't, I don't think they were setting out to make, just like Colt did several years ago. I've got one, you've seen it, what they called it the replica or something, reissue or whatever of the 1911. And it looks just like this. You really just about can't tell any difference, okay? And so Cimarron didn't set out to do that. That would have cost a lot more and no need to do it. They wanted a low-cost firearm, 1911, that's pretty much in spirit with the originals, to take out and shoot and not have to rob a bank to pay for it, I think. So that's what they got. They got kind of a 1911 frame and mainspring housing, like I said, with most of the add-on parts. Other parts are basically A1 for the most part, okay? But anyway, so 1911, low end, and it worked. Now, I know it's kind of sacrilegious. I'm shooting a lot of different magazines in it. I want to misplace that, and that's the one I think came with it. So it comes with one magazine, just one mag. All right, again, in an effort to keep it low cost. So let's take a couple shots with it again. We haven't shot anything over the hill, have we? See if it's gong worthy. See if I'm gong worthy with that wonderful sight. Yeah, as long as you hold it steady. Let's try a ram. Boom. All right, killed him. Oh, we got a 2-liter here we haven't hit. And another one. Yeah. Let's do a speed load. Boom, put the other one in. So it could be your combat pistol, right? Doesn't have to be. I've talked a lot about the Wild Bunch competition, in SAS matches, but it could be your carry gun in a shoulder holster, in a belt holster, pocket holster. Nah, probably not a pocket holster because it's a full weight and size, 1911. And it's got the double diamond grips. They, kind of copied those. It probably a little lighter than any of the originals. You see how dark they are on this 1911. But you could oil those up for a few years and it would darken. And it's pretty cool. These old guns, we did the video and the cheap 1911 versus expensive and all that kind of thing. I covered a lot of that in that video. I won't repeat it, but these things, they tend to work. And a really nice firearm for almost anybody's collection. They just really are, to take to the range and enjoy occasionally. Not something you're going to carry necessarily or anything like that. Don't eliminate possibilities just because it's not a carry gun or a defensive gun you're going to grab, Depending on your budget, you can't just go buy a bunch of guns maybe because they're cool. But this is a cool addition to anybody's collection. It really is. Okay, give it a little more force. Just fun to shoot, and 1911, they've been around a while, and this design, no doubt about it. Let's see, let me shoot something I haven't shot, like the tree there a little more. Did I not put a round in? No. Guess you have to have a round in the chamber? Is that the way these work? I should have read the manual. Yeah, it's always better if you have some sights and a fiber optic and big white dots or something that really jump out at you. But I tell you what, I'm not going to demonstrate Rob Latham or anything here. I just want to, even without having good sights on a firearm, at the distances you need a firearm, if defense is your purpose, I mean, you can pull the things out. you can hit what you need to hit. The sights don't have to be perfect. For one thing, you're not, if you had to use a firearm in a hurry, okay, let me find that sight, and you gotta get it on target and pull the trigger, right? Is the main thing. You're not talking about bullseye match shooting anyway. They just get the job done. They've gotten the job done for GIs for a long time. Yeah, man, over 100 years now, and it's hard to believe we did a video on the 100-year anniversary. Seems like yesterday, but it wasn't yesterday. It was probably sometime in 2011. Pretty smart, aren't I? So 2011. So anyway, yeah, that's what else did I not tell you? 450, 500 bucks, I think, and just a little bit of a mixture, of the original 1911 with A1 features, but mostly things you would really want if you're going to shoot it much. I think one of the biggest differences, I pointed this out before, the A1 beaver tail is better. Now it's not like a like a Ed Brown high ride beaver tail, and some of those you see on some just more shootable 1911s, maybe competitive 1911s, but you don't get a hammer bite. That's the main thing. You don't get hammer bite. Whereas with this gun, I do. I definitely get hammer bite, and so do most people. All right. Now again, that doesn't matter, but if you're shooting, if you had to use it in battle or something, you're not worried about a little bite on your skin. But it's annoying if you're just out shooting at the range or even in a match, and you're bleeding right there by the end of the match. So it's probably good. You got the A1 upgrade there on the beaver tail. Okay, so it's got some things like that you'd want, and the sights are even a little bit bigger, I guess. Actually, I don't know if the sights are that much different. Okay, they're a little different. They're about the same size. You got a better opening on the sights, easier to pick up than you see the rear sight on this actual 1918, 1911. So you got a better sight picture. That's the biggest difference. It's not like they're a lot higher or bigger massively or anything. So can I shoot one more time before I let you go? All right. And so far it's worked with any magazine I put in it, so probably the last mag it'll malfunction with. There's a Nighthawk mag. I'm sure that's a terrible magazine, right? Joking. All right. Okay. This is my last magazine. Then I'm going to come from the holster and I'm going to shoot something. Good old 1911. I think it was just made to shoot. It really was. There's probably about one round left. Maybe I'll try the gong. I'll risk ending on a miss. It was the last round, and I did risk ending on a miss, but I passed the test. So when the pressure's on, usually I can bear down and hit what I'm shooting at. Not always, not always. So I'll let you go. So just wanted to bring this to you if you're not familiar with it. And it's been out for a few years. Maybe I've been remiss in not just telling you about this one sooner, because I think I might have even made the comment before that a lot of the low end, the bare bones, lowest end 1911s are not necessarily a good replica of the military versions of the gun. And of course this one isn't in a lot of ways because it's a mix of the 1911 and the A1. But I do like the fact that it has the vertical serrations there. I really like that. And it doesn't have anything up front, and it screams the military, USGI, 1911. Whereas some of the early Springfields and some others, you'll see them and they're kind of like this, but they got those angled serrations, and to me it just shouts, it's just wrong. It's just wrong. It's like having a pink sight on it or something, okay? Yeah, I'm a little weird though, I guess. Yeah, brilliant deduction. So anyway, the Cimarron, I don't think it's actually called the Wild Bunch gun. It comes in a package, I noticed, where you can get the tanker holster. I have an old tanker I have over there holster, kind of a shoulder holster affair that comes with it. You can buy that package, I think I saw online. So I'm not sure they actually call the gun the Wild Bunch 1911, so if you're looking for it and all that sort of thing, but it's just one of their 1911s. They make these low-end 1911s in this configuration in a This one's kind of the parkerized finish. They make it in, I think, in a nice blue finish, shiny blue finish, and they make it in nickel, I believe. It's not stainless. I think it's nickel plated. So there's different variations of it, and that's what it is. Thought show it to you, come out and shoot it for you, and it's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it for you. Take some shots, right? So really appreciate y'all coming by and helping out the people that support us and keeping me sane. Okay, life is good.
Fire. It's a long walk from where I had to shoot that. Oh man. Oh hey, didn't see you guys there. Since you're here, I want to let you know about our friends over at Talon Grips and Ballistol. TalonGunGrips.com. Check out everything they have over there. You can get lots of different grips, the stick-on grip textures for your handguns and rifle grips, so go check them out. Also Ballistol, they're a firearms lubricant or anything else you might need lubricating. It's water soluble and non-toxic. Been using it on the compound and cleaning all of our guns. It's a cleaner and a lube for over 10 years. So Ballistol, Talon Grips, definitely check both of those companies out. And also, while you're on the internet, don't forget to go to hickok45.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Hickok45, Twitter, Hickok45, Instagram, The Real Hickok45, and also I have an Instagram page where I post behind the scenes stuff and different things like that. John, JOHN_HICKOK45 on Instagram. And the next thing you have to do is watch more videos.